Hi Life Groups. On Sunday we were thinking about our move back into St Mark's in a couple of weeks, thinking both about the opportunities and the challenges that brings us, and really asking the question, how can we move forward together into this new phase? And so I'd like to continue that theme tonight with two discussion tasks for you. The first one thinking about the hopes and opportunities of the situation, and then thinking about the challenges that we might face. So first of all, the hopes. One of the things that I talked about was 3 hopes that I had for us moving forward based on what Chris had shared, glow, grow and go, the previous weeks. So the first was becoming more of an all sorts church, in bringing us together in smaller groups, and particularly in having all age meetings that bridge the gap between children and adults, as well as pulling us all together. We have the opportunity to move much further into being that all sorts church that will show the glory of Jesus. And then second, being the body of Christ, where everybody has a part to play, everybody brings something. We all need each other. And yet we know that in our big meetings, we can often become quite passive. We can be dependent upon the leaders. We can go just in receive mode. And this challenges us all to step up, to give and play our part. And then finally, being the light of the world, a light to the community around us. If we become a church that increasingly welcomes all sorts, integrates all sorts together, values everyone and has everybody contributing and playing their part, we will more and more become an attraction to the community around us. What might that mean for us in terms of how people come to know the Lord in the months and years ahead? So I'll stop there for your first task, which is thinking about those 3 things: all sorts, body ministry, light of the world. Just let your imagination go a bit about what might this mean for us? How might we grow? How might these things develop amongst us? What will it look like in practice, and what difference might it make to us in our personal growth, in our growth together, and being a witness to Jesus in this world? So we'll take a few minutes to talk about that, and you can, if you want to, you can pause the video now and do your discussion. And so the second thing I want to think about is some of the challenges. We read through some passages from Joshua on Sunday, Joshua chapter 1 verses 1 to 11 and chapter 3 verses 1 to 5. What I have to say next built on that, so it might be a good idea, if you want to, just to pause the video again and read those passages again. So out of those passages I brought 6 points. The first one, leave the past behind. Moses, my servant, is dead. The second one, to be courageous. Courage doesn't mean have no fear. It means facing our fear and overcoming it. And for that we have God's promises. I'll be with you wherever you go. And then number 3, take the first step. This is a journey which we don't do everything at once. We will go a step at a time. The first step is perhaps to just get back there and get started. Let's be ready for our first step. And then to be prepared. This is a big thing. We need to be prepared well. The church staff and elders have done a lot of work already in preparing for this, but we as individuals also need to be prepared, aware and ready of what's going to be involved as we move forward. Number 5, stick together. All the people cross the river, even the old, the very young, the sick, the weak, the blind, the lame. Somehow they all got over. They stood with one another and stuck together and helped each other to get through. And so we too, as we go forward, we recognise that for some of us it's harder than others, but we want everyone to get there, everyone to get through. Let's stick together. And finally, number 6, consecrate yourselves. This is a moment to give ourselves to the Lord again as we face a new stage, new challenges, new opportunities. Give ourselves to Him for His purposes. So in terms of discussion, what I would like you to do is this. It would be really good if each one of us could say the one thing that we find the biggest challenge or question or fear about this next step forward. Now, if you've got nothing at all, that's fine, but I guess most of us will have something. And so what I would really encourage you to do is let's be open with one another, realistic. We cannot ignore our fears and concerns. I'm not asking for a long discussion to dissect all these things, but let's just name them and say, for me, I'm frightened of getting COVID, or for me, I have not been out for the last year. I don't know how I'm going to cope with being amongst a group of people, or maybe I'm not sure how it's going to work out, this old age meeting. Whatever it may be for you. And then let me encourage you, once you've done that, speak words of encouragement to one another. Pray for one another. Bring God's promises to help each other. Make plans for how you can support those who've got challenges. If getting there, if transport is difficult, then how are we going to help to get people there, for example? And so let's use this time now as an opportunity to honestly, but in faith, look at the challenges and move forward together. Thank you.